Okay, so I believe that staying healthy in these times is an act of defiance. And so I would encourage people to start getting really clued up on how we can do that. So, one of the things I would strongly recommend is dropping sugar out of your diet completely. And you may be thinking, oh, well, food doesn't taste very nice without sugar. But I can just tell you, I haven't eaten sugar now for pretty much 8 years. And things like pineapple and banana and fresh lemon juice, to me, taste amazing. They are incredibly sweet because I have allowed my taste buds to recover, and now food tastes sweet to me even when it's had no added sugar put in. But if you go to the supermarket, and of course the food information labeling on the back of the packaging is so tiny that you need a magnifying glass to actually read it. But if you take a photograph of it on your cell phone or your mobile phone and then magnify it, you'll be able to read the information very, very easily. And in fact, if you do that, you will discover that virtually everything sold in the supermarkets these days is laced with considerable quantities of sugar. And they do this because sugar is a highly addictive substance. It was actually what set up the British Empire. Addiction to sugar and the sugar cane and the horrors of the slave trade and all that other stuff was actually, it was founded on the fact that sugar is an addictive substance, and that you would eat some and then you must have more and more of it. Well, if I tell you that functional MRI scans, that's magnetic resonance imaging scanning of the brain as it's actually working, have been done looking at various addictive substances. Bread, of course, being one of them. The gluten molecule is very similar to the heroin molecule, and so bread is highly addictive, and that, of course, was cashed in on by the Romans. They had the bread and circuses. They'd arrive in a country, get everybody addicted to bread, and then they'd set up the circuses and the gladiators, and then, of course, you had your population completely dependent on the bread that they were serving up. So they used addiction. Then we had the opium wars in China, and we've seen addiction used all over the world to subjugate populations, and sugar's being used right now to subjugate us. So we're addicted to it. It's causing the epidemic of diabetes and other health issues, and we're eating foods that we don't want. So functional MRI scans were used to see where the brain is manipulated when you take certain foods. If it's heroin, it's 2 or 3 pleasure reward centers. Cocaine, another 3 or 4. And the gluten molecule from wheat, maybe 7 or 8. But sugar lights the whole brain up like a pinball machine. It is the most addictive substance that we know of. And so we are being manipulated. Get sugar out of your life. Do it gradually. Going from using it to not using it suddenly is very, very difficult. But get sugar out of your life. And of course, during the pandemic period, getting to see a dentist was so difficult. How they made dental treatment very, very hard. NHS dentists almost disappeared. Nobody's got appointments anymore. And then we're seeing all kinds of nasties snuck into dental anaesthesia. So if you have an anaesthetic for dental treatment, you don't know what kind of undeclared ingredients are being put in there. So make sure you protect your teeth, and cutting sugar out of your diet is one great way to protect your teeth as well as your metabolism from the problems of sugar and sugar addiction. I find if I have any sugar at all, I can't stop thinking about it the rest of the day. That's how addictive a substance it is. So I really urge you to cut sugar out. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about. So that's just one. Obviously, keep yourselves hydrated. Make sure you've got really good salt. Table salt's evil stuff. It's sodium chloride. It creates imbalance in your electrolytes, whereas really good sea salt balances the electrolytes in your blood. So make sure you're using really good sea salt as part of your condiments. And we're told don't have salt because it raises your blood pressure. Well, that's the case if you're imbalanced. So a lot of the research has been done using table salt, which is not a substance that we should be eating. And it's the cheap ingredient used in food manufacturing, because sea salt's much more expensive than table salt, the sodium chloride, the single salt, whereas sea salt's got 80 or really good sea salt can have up to 90 different minerals in it, and these are all trace minerals in the exact balance your body needs to balance your electrolytes. And in hot weather where we're doing a lot of sweating, we are losing electrolytes. And of course the other thing you're losing when you're sweating, which is why exercise is such a great idea, is you're losing heavy metals through the skin. If you can get into a sauna or get into a hot bath or a steam room, wipe your skin with cotton cloth to take those toxins away, you are doing yourself a huge service. Now, the other thing I've put together, because I've got very, very short time, I don't want to overrun and cut the time down for other speakers, but I've put together 10 things that everybody should have in their medicine cabinet. So number one, I've put down, these are homeopathic remedies. Now, you may have noticed that the Royal Homeopathic Hospital in London got shut down recently, which is really unfortunate. And of course, anything that gets shut down by the establishment clearly is doing a good job. So it sort of says it all, really. Heparsol 30C, that's a natural antibiotic. K-Life tissue salt, that you chew in the mouth if you've got toothache and it will deal with the toothache. A kit for making chlorine dioxide. Many of you know about chlorine dioxide. If you don't know anything about chlorine dioxide, it's used as a water purification. So if we get problems with our water supply and it's tainted in any way, that is a great way to treat your water supply. A lot of people use it when they're out camping. But it's also the most phenomenal medicine. So there is a Telegram group, the Universal Antidote Telegram group, and go on there and you can download videos and information and training courses and testimonials about how that medicine's been used to really help a lot of people. Methylene blue, this is used in A&E, and it's the first line poison antidote. It's a wonderful substance. Anybody who keeps tropical fish has used methylene blue. When your fish are not very well, you put methylene blue in the tank. So, you can see why it's a good idea to have it around. And always go for the pharmaceutical grade. DMSO, dimethyl sulfoxide, an absolutely wonderful substance. Again, there are Telegram groups that will tell you more about it, how it's used, what it's valuable for, and it is a wonderful analgesic. It has no damage to the liver, it doesn't cause stomach bleeds, and that's a wonderful thing. Again, there are Telegram groups telling you how to use it. Colloidal silver. People have colloidal silver. It is a wonderful material. It is really, really useful. I carry around a little spray bottle of it everywhere I go. If I cut myself or I'm doing first aid, you just clean the wound with that. It's marvelous stuff. And it has a number of uses. You can use it for, if you're storing water away for a non-rainy day that we may get, put some colloidal silver in your water to protect the water from going stale. Raw honey from a local beekeeper, not from the supermarket. And if you can afford Manuka honey, that's even more valuable. Raw honey is the most wonderful treatment for wounds. It will heal a wound really, really quickly. When I was running an outpatients in a busy district general hospital, I remember an article came out in the Nursing Times about using honey for wound treatment. It reacts with the plasma that weeps out of a wound to create hydrogen peroxide, which sterilizes the wound, provides extra oxygen for healing, and also the sugars in the honey, the natural sugars and other substances in the honey will heal the wound from within. You get really rapid healing and a wonderful result, very, very little scarring from wounds. Bee propolis tincture, again, are wonderful pollinators, give us so many gifts. I wonder why they're killing them all off with neonicotinoids. I really have no idea. But bee propolis tincture, get hold of some of that. It's a wonderful treatment for sore throats. It's a wonderful treatment for laryngitis. Actors and actresses never leave the house without it, and it will stop tonsillitis and sore throats in its tracks. And also great for wound healing. Apis mel homeopathic, if you get stung by something and you get an allergic reaction or you get any kind of anaphylactic reaction, that is a wonderful thing to have to hand as an emergency. And then rescue remedy. I'm sure many people have that to carry around with them. Anyway, I hope you've already got in your kitchen hydrogen peroxide for cleaning your chopping boards. That's wonderful if you get bleeding gums. You dilute it and use it as a mouthwash. You can use it as a gargle for sore throat. So I've gone over the 10, but you should already have these in the home already. Bicarbonate of soda you use for baking. That's wonderful if you get bladder infections. Apple cider vinegar is fantastic for dissolving gallstones. If you're going to do a liver cleanse, take it in water before every meal for 2 or 3 weeks to soften any liver stones or gallstones so that you can clear those. And it's got multiple purposes, and ideally get an apple cider vinegar with the mother.